Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be, when is it warranted to take it slow? So I got an email from a guy. He started dating. This is kind of a tricky situation because he's dating a female coworker. And so he's been out on a couple dates. The first date, when he went out, he went to go for the kiss. She gave him a hug back. And then on the second date, it seems like he was a little too timid to make a move. And now he's worried about, as in the 3% Man book, that most women are going to sleep with a guy by the second or third date. And he's like, I haven't even kissed her yet, and we've had 2 dates. And so he's starting to recognize that something may be amiss here. So this is important because there are plenty of women out there that will go out and hang out with you because they like the time, the attention, the free drinks, the free food, but they have no intention of letting things go further. And so you got to separate the women who are interested versus those who are just enjoying the free shit. So I got a quote that I wrote, and then we'll go through his email. And the quote says, when a woman is romantically interested, she will be open to physical touching and kissing. She will make dates in the evening that are romantic in nature and be excited to see him. When a woman has platonic feelings for a man, she will steer their interactions towards platonic lunch dates, hugging instead of kissing, and try to always do things in group settings or bring a friend along. She will also talk about what a great friend the guy is to his face and other people. Smart men decline platonic dates and interactions and only give a woman 2 chances on 2 separate romantic dates max before moving on to find someone with strong romantic interest. Keep in mind, the quickest way to get somebody else's attention is to remove yours. If you go on a couple of dates and you get the kind of reactions that this guy is getting from this woman, don't keep trying to change her mind. Don't keep spending money and effort on somebody that is trying to give you blue balls but appreciates the attention. The reality is there are lots of people in this world that will waste your time. It's not just in romance, but in business, friends, people get around you, get in your inner circle, and they want something from you or somebody in your inner circle. So you got to be very careful about who you let in and who you allow to stay. So he says, hi, Coach. I want to get your thoughts on both my current dating situation and how it relates to the overall idea of taking it slow. Well, with love, women fall in love a lot slower than most guys do. Guys see a woman and are visually stimulated, and they think, this is going to be my perfect future ex-wife. But women, they fall in love slowly. They fall in love through their years, through time, spending quality time together, getting to know somebody. It's the process, and the idea is to taking it slow. As a man, you want to go slightly slower to the point where almost like she's kind of frustrated that it's not moving fast enough, because that's when she becomes more aggressive and escalates things. And when a woman is escalating things and making things easier, it makes things really easy for you. But you also got to recognize when you're wasting your time. He says, I work with a fair number of pretty girls and recognize that coming on too strong while flirting is something that I don't want to do. So I've been more subtle in my flirting, and that has thus far worked since I've been out on 2 dates with one of my coworkers. The first date we had lunch and drinks. Well, I wouldn't have gone out for lunch and drinks. I would have done something in the evening. Because oftentimes if you suggest hanging out, she says, let's go to lunch. Women who are interested in sex and romance are going to be happy planning something in the evening. Because if you do a lunch date in the middle of the day, you go to lunch, maybe even you have a few drinks, she's like, oh, I got plans, I got to meet friends, I got to do this, I got to do that. And the whole purpose of seduction is to get closer and closer to a woman until you end up inside of her. And if you're doing a lunch date, then you hang out a few hours, and then she's going to go do something else and probably go hang out, have fun, and hook up with the guy she's actually having sex with. While he's beating up your insides and her belly's full of the food that you bought her for lunch. How's that for payback? First date, we had lunch and drinks, and on the second date, we went hiking together. So if you're hiking and you're getting all sweaty, that's not really a conducive date for romance. That's something you do with a pal. I went for unless you're taking a tent or something and you're making a weekend out of it, but that's just not a good day. I mean, you're sweaty and stinky. That's not good for romance. You got to think about these things. You got to think about the logistics of sex, and he ain't thinking about it. Maybe he doesn't know any better. He didn't say if he'd read 3% Man yet or not. He says, I went for the kiss on date 1, and she went for a hug instead, but I didn't get butthurt and instead kept being the guy I've been that got her attracted to me in the first place. Well, dude, if she was really attracted to you, she would have kissed you. He says, that worked because she did, and I got to go on the hike together. Well, how does that sound? That sounds like he's seeking her attention and validation. It reminds me of that video I did years ago. A guy was like, I got a big, wide open hug. I think it was even the title of the video that I did. But if she liked him and if she was interested in romance, she would have kissed him back. But he's saying, hey, she's with me, so she must like me. Well, if there's nothing romantic going on, then she enjoys the attention that you're giving her. Like I said, while somebody else is going and beating up her pelvis later after you wore out on the hiking trail. He says, however, you have mentioned that women that like you will probably sleep with you by the 3rd date, but we've been on 2 dates and haven't gotten to the kiss yet. Well, part of the problem is you're not following what the book teaches. You're doing the opposite. You're doing things in the day which are platonic oriented style dates, if you will. What's stopping me from potentially being physically overeager in her eyes is the fact that we do work together. So I don't want to inadvertently cause problems at our job. So with that in mind, being patient has been my operating strategy and has been working thus far. Well, blue balls is not a great result. And getting a hug after spending all this time, I don't know how much money you spent buying her drinks and food, but that's kind of like a poor return on investment. Because so far, all I see, and then she's telling him, I don't want you to be overeager. So she's like, you got to take it slow. I don't want to rush things. Let's do lunch. Buy me lunch. Take me to a movie. Take me on a hike. Entertain me. And then I'm going to go home and call my Chad, and he'll come over and ream my insides out later. She'll call it Chad Thundercock to give her a proper seeing to. As for taking it slow regarding physical escalation, how can I reconcile my perceived need to be more on the cautious side since we work together with my desire to be physical with her and to escalate things in that way? Well, it would help if you actually applied what was in 3% Man instead of doing platonic things during the day. And at this point, I wouldn't call or text her for any reason. If you hear from her, if she reaches out, assume she wants to see you, make a date in the evening for you and her to go do something dinner-wise. Because you went on a hike, that's just kind of a stupid idea for a second date. That's something you can do with a girlfriend or somebody you've already been sleeping with, but not a girl you haven't even kissed yet, because that's something you do with a pal or a friend. And again, you got to think of it. You're getting all sweaty and stinky hiking. It's a bad way to go, my man. You're cock-blocking yourself. But maybe she was steering it that way. That's the important thing to notice. Because women know if you're planning dates in the evening, that romance is on the table. If you're agreeing to do things in the day, then you don't have the guts to stand up to her. And so she'll appreciate your time and attention and giving her food to fill her belly that gets to slosh around in there when Chad Thundercock is rearranging her insides later in the evening when he gets off work or whatever he's been doing. If we aren't getting particularly hot and heavy right away or by the 3rd date, do I need to be concerned despite the fact that she shows overall interest in me otherwise? Well, you haven't shared anything in this email that would lead me to believe that she's interested in anything other than the free meals, the free shit. She sounds like a socialist. Socialists love free stuff, especially because everybody else has to pay for it. She hasn't said anything about wanting to take things slow and has been receptive to all my touches, teases, and flirts, other than that first date kiss I went for. Well, again, I wouldn't do anything else at this point. She knows you like her. Go talk to the other girls at work, and if you see her, hey, and then go about your business. How would you treat her if you were already bored of her and tired of fucking her? You wouldn't be a dick. You'd be nice. You'd be polite. But you'd be thinking, I want to talk to these other girls that I work with. So spend time talking and interacting with them. And don't call her or text her for any reason. If she does reach out to you, then make a date, do something in the evening, and go for the kiss on the next date, even if you think she's not interested. Because if you go for the kiss on a third date and she gives you another hug, then you know where you stand. And then I wouldn't ask her out for any reason after that. Unless she brings it up first. Say you go out on a third date and you get a hug, then I wouldn't ask her out anymore. Even if she calls you and texts you. It's the same thing out of 7 Principles, Get an Ex back at that point. Send 1 or 2 text replies. Hey, it's great hearing from you. Gotta run. Keep in touch. Talk to you later, whatever. And then if she brings it up, she brings up, well, we should get together, then I would invite her over to your place to make dinner in the evening together. Hang out, have fun, and hook up. She won't come over for dinner. Go, yeah, it's been a long week. Just in the mood to hang at my place. If you don't want to come over, then give me a call in a couple weeks. And maybe I'll meet you out for lunch or donuts or another hike or whatever. But obviously, you're not going to agree to do that. That's how I would handle this particular situation. But from what I've seen, it sounds like she likes the time and the attention and the free food and you entertaining her. But other than that, I don't see any indication that she's interested in romance or is reciprocating it. And you're kind of ignoring that and only seeing, you're seeing what you want to see, even though there's no evidence. At least she didn't share any evidence of any kind of interest. Because if she was really romantically interested, she would have kissed you. So if you got a question or a challenge and you'd like to get my help, go to understandingrelationships.com, click the products tab at the top of your screen, and book a coaching session with yours truly. Until next time, I will talk to you soon.